tower, you'll see that there's a big open floor there. It looks like they just kind of forgot to build that. It's called a blow-through. Because there is so much wind that is generated along the Chicago River and from Lake Michigan, they needed a way to make it structurally stable. So one of the ways to do that is just reduce the amount of surface area. So they took out all the windows. There's no residents up there, obviously. It's just the elevator shaft. Wind goes through and it reduces all the force on the outside, makes it a lot more structurally stable. One other thing they do is they have big water tanks up there, huge water tanks. So if the wind comes in from the west, those water tanks automatically fill up on the east side to compensate for that weight, the ballast transfer. It's very, very complicated, but it keeps the building from swaying too much up in the high winds that we have. This whole area to our right, this is the Lakeshore East development. This used to be a 9-hole golf course. They turned it now into the $4 billion Lakeshore East development. And this is basically a city within a city. They have grocery stores, they have restaurants, they have apartments, townhomes, condos, a market, and a gigantic park in the middle of it. I love that park because it is dead quiet. You do not feel like you are in the city of Chicago. You feel like you are completely transported in a little bit of an oasis here in the city. At least that's what it was yesterday. So what's going to happen is we are going to enter the Chicago Lock. The gates are going to close up behind us, and then the gates out to Lake Michigan will open, water will come into the lock, and we will rise up to the level of Lake Michigan. Conversely, when we come back through after the lake, the water will rush out of the lock and we will drop down to the level of the Chicago River. Not a very complicated process, but again, this serves as the only way to get out to Lake Michigan from the Chicago River and vice versa. Now, as we enter Lake, and then we'll pick up with a little bit more narration once we get out onto Lake Michigan. In the meantime, we have a beautiful view of the skyline right behind us as we enter the lock. I'll let you know when the gates start closing up, and you can keep an eye out for what's going on there. But otherwise, sit back and relax. We'll pick back up again in a few minutes as we make our way out onto Lake Michigan. It was originally built in 1908. It was called Municipal Pier. It was home to a lot of shipping and trade work out in the city of Chicago. During World War I, it served as a recruitment center for naval recruits, and then during World War II, they actually used it as a training facility for aircraft carrier pilots to do takeoffs and landings out in the middle of Lake Michigan. It wasn't until 1996 that Navy Pier became what we see it as today. Now it is the largest tourist attraction in all of Illinois. There's over 8 million people a year that visit and take in the views of Lake Michigan because that was the original intent of Navy Pier. Beyond the shipping and trade, they wanted the citizens of Chicago to be able to go out there, enjoy the space, and enjoy the cool air that Lake Michigan provided for them. Now I mentioned the Columbian Exposition 1893. That was a huge exposition that really put Chicago back on the map, showed people that we had recovered from the devastation of the Chicago fire. The Ferris wheel was the centerpiece of that. That was the engineering competition that we were forth because the Columbian Exposition was originally designed to compete. You know, I will shut up here because we have a beautiful view of the sunset coming in here, really hitting that golden hour. So take in the views, enjoy it all, and again, if you have any questions, I'll be up front. Always happy to help, but we'll sit back and relax and enjoy the beautiful evening. get a view of Lake Michigan. They knew what people would want to see. They want to see the lake. So every residence in there has a view of the lake in some way, shape, or form. Now, what's really unique about this building is where it sits in relation to the rest of the city. This is the only building that you will find east of Lakeshore Drive, and there's a reason for that. During the early planning stage of Chicago, there was an ordinance that was passed that said that no building can be built east of Lakeshore Drive on land. Well, it's built east of Lakeshore Drive, and it has to be built on something, so how did they get away with this? Well, a lot of the area around Lake Michigan is actually man-made landfill, especially after the Chicago fire. There was a bunch of debris that was just dumped onto the shores of Lake Michigan, and it filled in with sediment from the lake, ultimately creating landfill. This building is built on that landfill. So when they put forth the plan for this development, the city said you can't build here, no buildings east of Lakeshore Drive, and they said nope. Law says we can't build on land, this is landfill, there's a difference. So they were able to build this building here, so now the law says no buildings to be built east of Lakeshore Blowing when they get into the South Park. They're trying to figure out a way that's the best way to clean up the soil and do all of that. So it will eventually be a really remarkable park space out along the Chicago River. It's not the only thing to build there because again, no buildings east of Lakeshore Drive, which is directly above us. The other big open space is next on our right. This was supposed to be, this big open space here, this was supposed to be home to a 2,000-foot tall spire that was going to be completed in 2010. It was going to be the tallest building in the world at the time. However, they ran out of money during the development phase. There's currently a beautiful 9-story deep hole in the ground of that building, but that's it. You can't see it because it's underground. They were unable to complete construction. They did, however, sell the top floor apartment condo there. It was like about 1,900 feet above the surface of the earth. It was sold to a gentleman named Ty Warner for $40 million. And for all you 90s historians out there, Ty Warner invented Beanie Babies. So that worked out pretty well for him. Out here to our right, you're going to see the Riverview West condos and townhomes completed in 2002 and 2005, respectively. Townhomes and condos. The townhomes originally sold before they even hit the market for $3.2 million. One of the condos, or the penthouses on the top, actually is the basketball court up there. So this gives you an idea of the scale of the amenities within that building. Out here again to our right, you're going to see kind of a low-lying fountain. It looks like it's tiered right here. I say fountain, but there's no water running through it. This is Centennial Fountain. It was completed in 1993 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Columbian Exposition. This used to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Beautiful, beautiful fountain out here. However, when they shut it down for the winter one time, ran out of parts. They can't find the parts that operate it anymore, so it's broken.